Hi, I'm Sophie Melbourne, editor of the MSP Channel Insights portfolio, and I'm joined today by Erin McLean from Cynomi. It's so lovely having you. Would you be able to
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself and a bit about your role at Cynomi?
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Erin McLean. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Cynomi, and I've been with the business for about 2 months now, coming from a background in telecommunications and managed security services. So really appreciate the time today.
Oh, thanks for coming. So to start, for anyone that's kind of unfamiliar with Cynomi, would you be able to kind of
Yeah.
briefly introduce the company and explain kind of the role in helping MSPs strengthen cybersecurity for customers?
Absolutely. That is core to what we do. We are purpose built for managed service providers, and we are the security growth platform for MSPs and for the greater service provider community. Our entire mission is about helping service providers grow, scale, deliver cybersecurity services across the complete cybersecurity management opportunity. And we do that with an agentic platform, with embedded CISO intelligence, and with really amazing and intelligent workflows, systems, and recommendations to help empower every team member across our service provider partners.
Perfect. Such a big conversation at the minute, isn't it? Everything to do with
Oh
cybersecurity.
my gosh. Definitely.
Like I said, we're seeing cyber spend increasingly shift outside of CISO's office with functions like finance, operations, legal, and compliance now investing directly. What do you think is this shift? Why do you think that's happening? And what does that signal about the changing nature of cyber responsibility?
I think I've been in cybersecurity for about 15 years now, and I think we've always tried to position cybersecurity to the board, making it a business conversation, translating security control to business value. We're in that reality now. It is well understood that if not when game is here, we get it.
Mhm.
And I think that we're seeing all parts of a business's leadership team take note and feel accountable to a level of security control because it's not just about the bits and bytes, it is about business risk, exposure, vulnerabilities, brand risk. And there are so many interwoven components of a supply chain and of how a business operates that has direct impact on its employees, on its
Mhm.
brand and reputation, on its customers, that all members of leadership, whether it's finance, compliance, legal, are all accountable.
Mhm.
And what's phenomenal about a platform like Cynomi is we can bring all of those components to the table so that the individual personas in the customers that our partners are targeting can understand where they play, what opportunities exist for them to do a better job, to improve their security posture. And we put our service provider partners in the driver's seat to have those various conversations across the personas that they're serving.
Amazing, thank you. And from your perspective, what kind of opportunities does that trend create for MSPs, and how can they position
Yeah.
themselves to serve these non-technical buyers effectively?
Well, it does certainly open the aperture and allow them to have very different conversations, but they have to be ready. And I think one of the key things to recognize as a service provider or an MSP is that you can't speak to every audience the exact same way. And so, depending on title, depending on the level of maturity of your customer, the size, the industry that you're serving, you really have to do your homework and identify why is this going to be a fit for them? What type of service am I really talking about? And what's the reason behind the decision of, what's going to push them over the edge? We talk
Mhm.
at Cynomi a lot about catalysts, like why is there an urgency? Is it a compliance mandate? Is it insurance? Is it an industry, a customer need? What are those factors at play? And then helping our partners identify ways they can best position themselves. You have to realize those are going to be different if you're talking to a business audience or a technical audience. And so something that, in joining the Cynomi team, I saw a significant opportunity in going to market differently,
Mhm.
helping our partners, our community understand how to go to market in these different ways, and bringing some of my marketing background to be able to facilitate content, toolkits, workshops that help them deliver to these different personas.
Yeah, it's definitely not one size fits all, is it?
It can't be. It can't be. It would be so much easier if it was. I
Yeah,
would
I
love that.
can
But then we
imagine.
wouldn't have A/B testing and different,
Yeah.
ways to evaluate success across these different metrics.
Wow. Many MSPs are highly technical in how they communicate value, while finance or operations leaders think often in terms of risk and resilience and business continuity.
Yeah.
How can MSPs adjust their messaging, their services, and their approach to resonate better with these new stakeholders?
Yeah, it's really funny. We have there's a large industry event coming up called Right of Boom, and we actually have a session called Beyond the Nerd, translating security control to business value because of exactly this problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that fundamentally, if you're a service delivery lead or a technician or an executive in cyber, you appreciate there is a discipline and an acumen to this control, and it means something. But you have to find a way to communicate the so what. You have to make it simple, you have to make it actionable, and you have to put it into the language of your audience. And so
Mm-hmm.
that comes down to risk, that comes down to time savings or financial value, that comes down to dollars averted from reputational damage. And I think, it's even that can get a little marketing speak. It can be a little
Mm-hmm.
bit too high level. Whereas you just fundamentally want to show that there is a plan and that there is progress and there's a level of improvement. And I
Yeah.
think that, why a platform like Cynomi can come in and really help a service provider deliver that message is
Mm-hmm.
because we service the spectrum. We are based in the CISO level intelligence and control of various compliance frameworks. We give a roadmap of activity so that it's very clear where your customer is progressing and what advice and expertise you should provide next. And then we visualize that for the end customer so that they feel like they're up to date. They understand it's simple for them to digest. They're learning alongside their partner. And so they want to make sure that they are educating themselves, that they understand, and that they can have those internal business conversations about security without feeling uncomfortable. And so it's important we kind of support that full end of the spectrum.
Yeah, because nothing can be more uncomfortable, like you said, than people throwing
You don't
acronyms
want.
at you and things that you don't quite understand. It's very daunting.
And the worst thing is sitting at that, that boardroom table or in that meeting and not saying something, because that could be the trigger that leads to progress. That could be the right question, but you're embarrassed. And so if
Yeah.
you have something visual that you can understand, or you could start to like digest a little bit differently, we're trying to make it simple and we're trying to make it repeatable. But at the end of the day, we want to be able to actually allow service providers to prove their value, to show the progress they're making. And we can deliver that through Cynomi.
Perfect. Cynomi enables MSPs to deliver CISO level insights and risk management without
Mhm.
requiring in-house CISO resources. How does this help MSPs bridge the gap between technical security delivery and business-oriented security leadership?
Yeah. I am sensitive to that statement because I think
Mm.
that a lot of the service provider partners, whether they're MSPs, MSSPs, I mean, the new ITSP,
Mhm.
we love an abbreviation.
Of course.
But I know it's so awful. When these partners have security experts in house. So I don't want to say you don't need talent. You absolutely need talent. You
Yeah.
need to have expertise of some level, whether it could be a security administrator, it could be a CISO, it could be a VP of service delivery. You need that talent. What Cytomi allows you to do is empower a broader spectrum of your resources and also not have to grow your talent at the same proportionate level as you're growing your services.
Right.
And so you're able to expand and empower expertise and make service delivery so much more consistent. But it is not a direct replacement to headcount. It is empowering and ensuring that you're able to scale that headcount in a very, very margin efficient way.
Perfect. What would you say are the most common kind of gaps or misunderstandings you see when business leaders outside of IT make cybersecurity decisions? I know we kind of talked a little bit about not
Yeah.
quite understanding it and things like that.
I think it's really tricky. As a marketer, we love nothing more than ROI calculators
Mm.
and ways to, make some fancy stats look really great.
Mhm.
And you really need to come down to the personal component. There's always an emotional and an economic decision that goes into every business decision.
Yeah.
And then when you add a level of security, maturity, and control, it can kind of get muddled. And so
Mhm.
I think it's really, really critical that these different buyers and different influencers really understand how the security control that's being spoken about or the program as a whole impacts them, impacts their teams, impacts their business. Because again, all of these personas you're talking about have a role to play: finance, legal, compliance. sales for that matter.
Mm.
They all have a role to play. And I think we're seeing that more and more as we see increased AI adoption,
Yeah.
confusion about what that really means,
Hmm.
whether it's usage, utilization, how that impacts third party risk. It is pervasive of
Hmm.
businesses today talking about security and needing to do so with substance. And so, again, having your leadership team on the same page, understanding your posture, speaking with confidence can really be an accelerator and a differentiator for your business if you have the right partner.
Perfect. Looking ahead to the rest of 2026 and beyond,
Mm.
how do you see cyber buying behaviors evolving? And do you expect even more decision making to move outside of traditional IT leadership?
Definitely, definitely. I think that we will continue to see a true community-driven approach.
Mhm.
Leaders today, when we're working with service provider partners, they're making the decision to work with Cynomi because their peers, their network, have made the recommendation.
Right.
You know, and that's changing marketing as a whole. It's changing, B2B go-to-market efforts as a whole, but
Mhm.
making sure that you are always educating community and speaking about value in a way that is very, very tangible is super important. I think that there is extra onus across the entire C-suite, no matter the level of the organization. It could be a finance VP or a director, it could be a CFO, but
Mhm.
CFO, COO, CIO, the owner, the CEO, those individuals all feel an accountability to the cybersecurity program now in a way that they never had to before.
Mhm.
And so the buying decision is shared. You have many more people to influence, and you do have to think about things like risk, progress, maturity, visualization of posture management,
Mhm.
resilience as a whole. And these are very different conversations than going, do you want to manage a firewall today?
Yeah.
Why do I want to do that? What is that going to do for me? And so you have to be able to explain the so what. And again, that's why you need a partner like a Cynomi that is going to help you actually deliver that value in a way that makes sense across the various customers that you're serving.
Perfect. Finally, what role do you see MSPs playing in future cyber ecosystems, and how do platforms
Mhm.
like Cynomi help them mature from security service providers into true strategic security partners for their customers?
I think you just nailed it with that question. It's the MSP needs to be the strategic advisor. They have such an opportunity to leverage the trust, the relationship that they've already established to go broader beyond just even a cyber advisory stream.
Mm.
Cynomi for many years has talked about vCISO, vCIO, CISO as a service as the critical cyber advisory category, and that is fundamentally true. But we see a much broader opportunity to support complete security program management, and we're encouraging our partners to understand how they can improve the proactive nature of their service, the recommendations and tasks that they support. And we're helping them with the revenue insights to show them where the gaps are in their protection based on the controls that we're able to see and where their customers need to be served from a compliance perspective. And so they are now empowered with the opportunity to truly be an advisor. And that's what has to change. We can't be stuck, we can't be stuck being reactive. We can't be stuck on the back foot. Compliance, regulatory changes coming so rapidly that we need to be ahead of that as a community and be showing a path forward to our customers in order to be successful.
Yeah, I feel like so many people that I've been speaking to keep using that word proactive. It has to
We
keep
have
coming back
to.
to that. But
And
no,
it's the how though, like how do you actually know? And
yeah.
that's why, having that level of expertise streamlined across your entire team gives
Mhm.
you a level up. If every member of your team can act with an improved level of expertise, be that much closer to a CISO grade of caliber, then you're already going to have a leg up in the industry and be able to better serve your customers.
Bro, that's amazing. That's all my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophie. Really appreciate the time.